Okay, so I want to point out, if you look at this thing, it says use the limit definition to get the derivative of f at 8. So one thing I want to point out, if you do this on the exam, if you write down, oh, I'm going to do something different, I don't like that limit definition thing, and some students will do this. They'll write this as 3x plus 1 to the 1/2. Then they write down f prime. They're using the chain rule. It's going to be 1/2 3x plus 1 to the minus 1/2 times 3. Then they plug in the 8. Relatively simple to do. 1/2. 3 times 8 is 24, and 24 plus 1 is 25. To the minus 1/2, put that down, times 3. Then they do the arithmetic where they get 1/2. That's going to be 1 over the square root of 25, which is 1/5, and then times 3. What does that give you? 3/10. Then the kid's going to often argue, oh, I got that right because I get the same answer you got. I'm not saying you didn't get the same answer. I'm just saying you didn't do what we asked you to do. So I'm going to erase this saying this is not what we want you to do. So what do we want you to do? Limit definition. So why don't we write down, this one here, f prime. There's 2 different ones you could use, by the way. At least most teachers teach 2. It's going to be limit. And then I'm going to say x goes to h. I'm sorry, x goes to 8. Then what are you going to get? F of x, which is this over here, minus f at 8, which is square root of 25. And on bottom, what do you get? Let's take a look at it. It's going to be x minus 8. All right? So what I'm going to do now is I can't do that limit. I'm going to multiply top and bottom by its conjugate. Relatively simple to do. Root 20, that's plus root 25, sorry. Multiply the top by the conjugate, you certainly multiply the bottom by the conjugate. These generally work out pretty nicely. Let's keep going. On the bottom, what do you get? You get x minus 8, and then you get this over here, the root of 3x plus 1 plus the root of 25. What do you get on top? 3x plus 1, and then you get minus 25. All right? Kind of looking crazy at this point, but I'm going to keep moving. Limit x goes to 8. Sorry. This is x minus 8. That's my problem, by the way. The root of 3x plus 1 plus the root of 25. Now, looking at the top, what do I get? I actually get 3x minus 24. But again, it's looking kind of crazy. So what do? I'm going to factor the top. You get 3, and then you get x minus 8, which is really what I was hoping for. I want a cancellation over here. We'll talk about that in a moment. All right, so what happens over here? This cancels off. That's an 8. That cancels off, and the reason it cancels off is because x is not 8. So what are you left off with? Something pretty simple. You left off with 3 on top, and when you plug in the 8 in bottom, what do you get? Root 25 plus root 25. That's going to give you 3, 5 plus 5. What's it going to give you? 3/10, as expected. We use the limit definition. I want to go through another one for you, because some students said, I don't want to use that one. We use a different one. So let me erase this over here. I want to tell you in the key, though, I think that's the one we use. I'm going to take a look at the key first, though. And we're getting the number we want. Yep, that's a definition I use. There's another definition I want to write down. It's probably the most famous one. I'll write this over here. F prime of x. I'll put the 8 in later, by the way. Limit as h goes to 0. And what happens here? It's going to be f of x plus h minus f of x over h. That's one definition. What I'm going to do is I'm say that, that's writing down a function what f prime is. And you could do that, but I'm not saying you can't. What I want to do, though, is replace the x with 8. Let me put that down over here. And let's do it. What do you get over here? Limit. And again, you don't have to do both. You do one. That's h. I'm going to put the f of 8 down first. And it's relatively simple because this is what f is. And I'm going to look at that. It's certainly 3 times 8 is 24. 24 plus 1 is 25. And the square root of 25 is just 5. So I'll write that down. Then I'm going to do this f of 8 plus h. Now, it's going to be more complicated. So it's going to be a root problem. I'll write this down for you. It's going to be 3 times 8 plus h plus 1. All right? So I'm going to have to simplify because I don't know what to do about that other than if I could simplify. Limit h goes to 0. you get h. And inside that radicand, what do you get? Well, you get 24 plus 1, which is 25, plus 3h. All right, relatively simple. Then what do you get over there? Minus 5. Get my eraser out. I went a little too far with that. And I'm really back in the same situation. I still can't do the limit, so I'm going to multiply top and bottom by the top's conjugate. What's that going to be? The root of 25 plus 3h plus 5. The root of 25 plus 3h plus 5 equals limit h goes to 0. On the bottom you get h, and then you get this root 25 plus 3h plus 5. On top, what do you get? 25 plus 3h minus 25. All right? What happens here? The 25's disappear, so I'm left off with this. Limit h goes to 0. I get 3h. On bottom, I get h. And then I get this root 25 plus 3h plus 5. What happens over here? Well, h, it goes to 0, but it's never 0, so these cancel off, and now I'm left with a pretty simple limit law problem. This is 3. On the bottom, what do you get? The root of 25, which is 5, plus 5. You get 3/10. All right, no matter what definition you're using, you're going to get 3/10 for that particular problem. Thank you.